Our government has made numerous mistakes with COVID. It's a schmozzle. Slowly, but too late, we've improved our understanding of how it spreads. Ahoy! I'm John August, Pirate Party Australia. Along with everyone else in Australia, we've shaken our heads at how the government has dealt with the crisis. A combination of naive optimism, wishful thinking, and false economy. Our party was born through the overreach of tech firms on intellectual property and emphasises individual freedom, much as we acknowledge the positive role of business, in its place, supporting us and the economy. It gives us a better handle on what's happened and how we got here, and where to go from here. Sadly, in so many cases, the horse has bolted. But we can still make a start, and I hope I can show how the Pirate Party can help here. I'll take a look at our economy, our government record, how COVID spreads, and the international scene. Every so often, we've had to shut down our city or state economies. But while we've been willing to shut down our economies, what about our airports? We should have set up dedicated quarantine centres near regional airports, rotating both staff and clients through stages, with a chance of leakage around 100 times less than the current arrangement. We charge people for hotel quarantine, and for sure, a dedicated quarantine centre would have cost a lot more. But how does that compare with the cost of shutting down a whole city or a whole state? We all pay for the Commonwealth Government's mistakes, while the Commonwealth Government can't help but just look at the dollars. The government spends money when it needs to on JobKeeper and JobSeeker, a definite turnaround. Normally, Labor was spending the money and the Libs were chucking the rocks. But it's grown the debt. Maybe we had to. But doing quarantine properly would have meant a lower debt. Maybe we need to do that JobKeeper and JobSeeker thing again, but along with comprehensive changes to quarantine. Maybe we need a COVID levy to contain the debt. Now, I'd be willing to do my bit. So long as we reform quarantine and the government isn't lazily relying on us to throw in some dosh to cover up its mistakes. About the only thing the Commonwealth Government did right was close the borders. But after that, the wheels fell off. There was the COVID Safe app. Remember that? It was supposed to be a magic wand. But in fact, lockdowns and state-based contact traces got us through the woods. We had numerous announcements of vaccination deals that never came through. And right at the start, Morrison wanted to go to the footy. The states, in fact, didn't do too bad. Andrews in Victoria did his best, in spite of being pilloried by some of the media, though proper quarantine would have helped. In New South Wales, we had the Ruby Princess, I suspect the result of a pro-business culture. While there was no direct oversight, bureaucrats were worried about being seen to block business. More recently, Berejiklian did not clamp down soon enough, the result of business interests and mindless optimism. Still, to be fair, rabid elements of the press have attacked, actually not too much different to Andrews trying to wind back the lockdown. And while tainted by her pro-business leanings, at least Berejiklian held herself back from falling down any extreme right-wing rabbit holes. I've tried to do a lot of things which haven't worked out because I was mindlessly optimistic. Sure, but I'm not trying to run a state or a country, and I'm not the result of a political system which you'd think would give us competent leaders able to make good calls. Strange to say, Victoria was less able to roll out effective contact tracing because they privatised and wound back their health services more than New South Wales. In New South Wales, we did do some things well, and while there have been calls for Berejiklian to resign, that's just stupid and would be too disruptive. Sure, vote her out, but resign? Much as I give a nod to lockdowns, we've had a lazy build-up of bureaucracy with sudden and unjustified changes to registration and the need to enter your details multiple times when you attend events. Yes, we need to take action, but that never excuses lazy and needless bureaucracy. It's now clear that COVID spreads predominantly through aerosols in breathing, something that was initially denied, particularly when you remember the advice against masks. It's possible that much of the effort spent cleaning surfaces was at least disproportionate, if not a waste of time. But governments sure wanted to look like they were doing something, didn't they? Further, a lot of those shields in use in retail may actually be making things worse. It's an issue that needs to be looked into. While on the one hand the government has stuffed up the vaccine rollout, they've been inward looking too. Internationally, there have been calls for a TRIPS waiver to help the vaccine rollout, but Australia and other governments have been dragging their heels. In fact, historically we kowtowed to business interests based on intellectual property and gifted high-value government research to overseas companies, the NICs. For us in the Pirate Party, patent rights should be suspended when the issues are this critical. Really, we'd prefer a total overhaul of the patent system. A compromise might be for the payment of an internationally endorsed nominal royalty, so long as the companies open their books, so they can get fair remuneration. COVID is controversial, but we in the Pirate Party see both its seriousness and the surrounding mess without going down conspiracy theory rabbit holes. Both the Commonwealth and state governments have made a complete hash of it, be it around quarantine, the vaccination rollout, choices around lockdown, or festering bureaucracy. If there's a time we need a clear perspective, it's now. We in the Pirate Party can see more clearly what's gone wrong to get us here, and I hope you've been able to see just how we can make that claim. I ask for your support so that we can do our bit to help us all get out of this mess. Thank you.